On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we're here in my new house garage where we're going to build the ultimate dream garage. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are here in my house garage that we worked on a little bit when I first bought this house, the Hugh Hefner mansion. And it's of course where the new shop is. It's right out back here, but we've been making some slow progress, and I decided it was time to just shift it into high gear and make, well, you know, kind of everybody makes a video building their ultimate dream garage. But this one, hopefully, when it's done, is gonna be insane. I am super pumped about it. Not to mention, like, the car selection in here is flawless. We've got the Maserati Gran Turismo, the 67 Camaro, the 65 Ford. If any of these were dailies, it would be one insane garage. It's really where I keep the nice cars that I don't want getting torn up. So this garage needs to be worthy of storing the nice cars, obviously, right? It's gotta be a nice place. And it also needs to be private, and it also needs to look sick because that screen door on the house there, that glass storm door, it has a normal door inside that, like an exterior door, and then it has the storm door, which doesn't make any sense. I just want an actual glass exterior door looking into this. So when you're in the kitchen, you're just looking right out into the garage where you can admire whatever is parked in here. I am very pumped about that. That's down the road a little bit though. The first things on the menu for the garage are fixing this problem here. And the problem should be pretty obvious to you guys. You're probably sitting over there saying, how'd you get that Maserati over there? And the answer is, it was painful. So I drove the Maserati in at an angle and then put a jack under the rear end and pushed it over, but the jack and me, I mean, it just didn't work out very well. It was an absolute fight. It takes me about 30, 45 minutes to get that car over there where there should be a spot for a car. It simply doesn't work. So on Wednesday, the electricians will be here to start on this. They're going to pull out this box here. Yeah, that's hot right now still. For some reason, it controls exactly one light in the garage. But they're gonna take this out. This is the exterior light, and this goes outside for some reason. There's a box out there that's just coiled up for Romex, and that's going away, obviously. And they're gonna move all of the controls and switches over by the breaker panel. Speaking of the breaker panel, the electricians were just here working on that. They cut out all this sheetrock and got my next Tesla charger going. So we have another one of the, I want to call it the magic dock, but it's the universal 1772 and Tesla. So you can charge anything you want on that wall. Obviously, I went ahead and started replacing the outlets so we can have Decora outlets all the way around here. We're gonna get rid of all the old ivory stuff. And soon, on Wednesday, the game plan is to have all of this lighting fixed. For some reason, there were two separate circuits controlling the lights in the ceiling here. And we're gonna solve all that, land it all in a triple gain box that's going beside the breaker panel with dimming and everything like that. We're gonna put in accent lighting all the way around as well, because the garage needs to look sick. It needs to kind of look like a runway when you're pulling the cars in. So we have our big area lights, which are these LED 10,000 lumen each, 8-foot segments up there. And that'll make it nice and bright when you need to work. And then there's gonna be a dim section with like our runway lights. That's those 4-inch wafers that I'm using all over the house. I'm super excited about that. Obviously, many of you guys already saw that we have our 8-inch clip speakers in the ceiling already, and we have to get that fixed today because things break, they always break. And then we have to get ready for the garage door to go in where I'm standing. That's right, this walk door here is going to get deleted, as we've talked about a little bit before, and then we'll come over about a foot, and there will be another 8x7 door cut in right there. So we'll be able to drive cars in and not move them the way I've been doing with the Maserati. Hopefully all this comes together in just a couple of weeks. I have no idea what it's gonna cost, but I would guess too much. If I had to put a number on it, it's way too much. But insulated doors with the glass windows in them. And this one will be the same, only the windows on the side, you know, I think that's the best look. I don't want full glass, I don't want people seeing in. And side openers, we get all the junk out of the ceiling, fix all the sheetrock, paint the whole shop, and then start on cabinets and, you know, 85-inch TV and a little bit of paint, and I think we'll have the ultimate garage. It should look absolutely sick. So with that said, today we're gonna get started on some of the coolest parts that are going in this garage. The 360 basically invisible camera that's going in the ceiling. No janky stuff around here. And also the amplifier for the speakers died. So we got to get all that fixed today, and also put an access point out here for Wi-Fi 7. We're going hard. Of course, all of this junk, all the way around the shop, is going in the trash. These shelves that are just hacked together 2x4s, those will get thrown in the dumpster, and maybe that little workbench there, it might get saved temporarily. Pretty much everything else though, going in the trash. I need this place to look clean, and I need it to be very functional as well. And I can't wait. By Wednesday at minimum, we'll have all these lights together, and that'll make a huge difference in here, especially with the 0 to 10 volt dimming. So inside the project house, we have something I've been waiting on for a while. This came from Mauser. This is a 48 volt, 1000 watt power supply. So it's a bit of a monster there. And this is going to power the power amplifier that powers all the speakers in the house. I also just ordered all the lights for the shop. They just showed up. So we're ready to rock. If you were watching when I bought this house, you remember building the rack and setting up all the Control4 stuff that runs all the audio, light switches, everything in this house. Well, our new camera for the garage is sitting right there. Look how big that thing is. That's a thumb. That is what's going in the ceiling in the garage. I know it's shaky, but that's going to give me a 360-degree view of the cars at all times. And the Control4 16-channel amp here, it stopped turning on. It was free, so I can't really complain about that. I'm gonna have to slide the matrix off to the side, get the cover off the amp. That amp has a 750 watt power supply in it from the factory. We're going to 1000 just to make sure it has more overhead if it ever needs it. And it's a Meanwell, it's a better power supply. So let's get to it. Taking this amplifier is straight up not a good time. There are a million screws you have to take out. This daughter board for the inputs has to come out first, then the main board, then you can get to the amplifier. They hid so many screws in here that you can't get to the amplifier standoffs without having everything out of the amp. All these have to come out, all these have to come out, and then maybe the whole back plate even, and hopefully we can get in there to the amplifier. The amplifier is also filthy. I think the new power supply is gonna fit, which is more than we knew before. What do you guys think? I was guessing. I know it won't mount to the standoffs, but it will sure sit inside there. We're about 100 screws down. I promise you guys that's not all of them. There are more piles of these still over where I took the lid off the amp. And we are finally down to the main board and the preamp board being out, and the actual power supply section there is ready to come out. Well, this was a Dongem Become. Well, Dongam Become, it did not work very well. Dongam Elcom, it's not a Belcom. All right, well, I'm sure this thing is just dead because of bad caps or something like that, but this thing, these power supplies die all the time and take these amplifiers with them. So you can always find these 16-channel amps pretty cheap. And on here, you can see right there, DD110, IC101, which looks like a 555 for some reason. It may not be a 555, something from ST Electronics there. All those resistors, caps, everything right around there is a dark brown, like it's been burning. Just that entire section. And there's no caps with blown lids or anything like that. You don't see any electrolyte all over the board, but for some reason, she's dead. And you could unplug it and plug it back in really quickly over and over and over and over, and sometimes the amp would flip back on. But for the most part, you weren't getting anything out of this amp, so we are gonna get it out of here. So to get it out of here, it's really trying to fight me, but I think hopefully all the caps have discharged. Wow, it weighs a lot. Wow, those are some big boy MOSFETs on there. What a bunch of monsters. You can also see the whole board's been hot under there too, and it's a two-sided board. Does not look very fun to repair, so it doesn't matter. DC rating, 48 volts at 12 amps, and this one, 48 volts at 21 amps. Would you guys believe this is guesswork? I mean, I know it's high, but it's high by like, whew, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch. It hardly makes sense. All I know is we need to shoot a couple holes into the bottom of the case now, and we're gonna come through with some metric screws and bolt this thing in. Jake's here, and we have been getting the power supply ready to go in. You can see this is the factory power supply connector that connects to the amplifier board right there. And it is very, very pretty the way we did that there. So we went ahead and adapted it to some ring terminals, heat shrunk those after we crimped them, got that all ready to go so it's nice and factory looking. The thing that we're waiting on now though is the old power supply has this IEC connector right there on the back. It mounts right into the panel and it looks really nice. And unfortunately it's solder on, it wasn't wired and bolted into the panel like a lot of amplifiers are. So what we did was we temporarily got it working with a little Widowmaker, which was fine, obviously, but I want it to be able to be unplugged. It's never gonna move again, so it's not a requirement, but it would just be nice if you could unplug it if you had to. So the preamp board here, I should be nicer to this. It's very fragile probably. It's got that IEC hole in it right there. What we did was we ordered an IEC extension cord like you'd use in a server rack or a PDU, and we're gonna put that on the back, and then you'll still be able to plug in the normal cord this thing always used, and this amplifier should fit perfectly, and we even have a hole that lines up to mount it. So it'll be completely sandwiched by the case and held in there really, really well. Unfortunately, that means we are stuck on this project for 2 days while we wait on our Amazon shipping to get here. And then we'll have this whole thing back together and have music in the house again. Forever, hopefully. I doubt this power supply ever breaks. So I spent a few dollars and we got this thing back on the road. Now that Jake's here, we are gonna grab a box of Cat 6, pull it up our conduit we have into the attic there and run it over to the garage and install that Theta camera, which should be pretty quick. The hardest part of this job, it's gonna take a few minutes, is we have to find true center in the garage, a 4-way center. So that's gonna take a minute. All right guys, I'm hanging out up here in the attic in the house. Doesn't it sound great up here? Most of this attic is rock wooled and then covered with another, I think, 14 inches of insulation or something like that. This house is insulated so well. But up here in the attic, I want to show you guys the Theta camera action because it's so cool. Jake's down there drilling a hole for the access point Ethernet that's got to go down into the garage right now. But we just finished doing the hole for the camera. So the Theta hub is right there. And under this insulation here, pick this up, you can see the camera itself mounted with its little locking ring. And now we're gonna close up all that insulation, take the hub for the camera, and lock it in. You gotta do that right there. All right, so that thing's locked in. Now we just need to make an Ethernet cable up. It's sitting right there, and plug in the camera, and we should have 360 views. How's the hole drilling, Jake? It is drilled. Yeah, buddy. If you can stick like a wire up, I'll stick the Ethernet cable down. Can you guys believe that is the security camera for the garage? We're gonna just zoom out slowly here until you see just how small that is. Unbelievable. It's so tiny. I am super pumped about this Theta camera. I can't wait to terminate this real quick, plug it in, and see the magic. There's our access point right there, and we're probably gonna take the access point that's connected to the shop and move it to right there until we get our fiber in here to really finish everything up. It'll probably work, right? Maybe. I liked it over there because I felt like going through the glass was easy. Yeah. But this should be
That's a pretty simple wall.
Yeah. If the network in the shop stops working, we'll take it back down and move it back over to the piano. All right, the Ethernet cables are made. I know you can't even tell that camera is on, but apparently it is. The notification just popped up on my phone. So let's open this thing up and see the garage camera. Now I feel like you might have to set this thing up for ceiling usage, and we're gonna find out right now. Oh, that's so sick. Check that out. So you can see the 67. It looks brighter on the camera than it does in real life. That's wild. And then here is us standing here. All right, I got it sorted out. I flipped the image, so now we can just scroll around, zoom in on whatever we want all the way around the garage. It is sick. And of course it's 4K and recording at a crazy high bit rate, and the best part is you probably won't see it. If anyone comes in here, that's really the goal. It's out of reach, way up in the ceiling, it's nearly invisible, and it works well in extremely low light. So even with the lights off in the garage, I should be able to see what's going on inside here. And now we're gonna add a bunch more cameras all the way around the house, because I want to make sure we've got 360-degree views, along with one on the shop that looks down the driveway. We are going to cover this place with cameras. We're pulling in some fiber to the shop still to make that happen. But the garage is well on its way. Obviously, it'll be 2 days before our Amazon order gets here with the cord to finish up the amp. That'll get the music fixed in the shop, hopefully for years and years and years. All the lights and everything should be done Wednesday, and we'll be well on our way towards building the dream shop. Once they cut in this garage door, I'll have the sheetrock guys here. We'll fix all those little cracks. They'll probably like float those or whatever they need to do. Make sure that those are all gone. All this wire for the garage door and that garage door opener, it'll all be gone. Clean up the whole top. And after that, everything should be just about perfect. Ready to fill this in with nice new shelving all the way around. So Wednesday is the next update on the house, where we'll have a lot of progress all at once. But today, well, I had to get a bunch of the baseline stuff done so we could get this project moving. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. If you want to buy one of these cameras, they just came out. I use all Unify cameras everywhere. I know you guys have seen me do a lot of camera installs. I love doing it. I will throw some links to the Unify Amazon stuff in the description below if you want to check it out. But once this garage is done, I just watched one of those garage smart home tours, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Everything was like cheap junk, wires strewn across the ceiling, lights that were plugged into outlets. I mean, just crazy stuff. And it had like nearly 1 million views, which hurts my heart, because when we're done, well, you guys know, it'll be done right. Just like the lake house, outrageously nice. And that's what this is gonna be in a matter of weeks.